This was a little bit of a breakaway from kind of what we're normally used to. We want to double down and triple down on, our involvement and whatnot, but we'd also really like to just see what other people are doing because, we sort of sit here on an island within our social circle. When we were finding out about this whole thing, we went to the office, we met Dakota and had lunch with him. After that lunch, we're walking back to the car and we kind of looked at each other and we're like, yeah, we're going to do
It
this.
felt a lot
So we
better.
felt we felt astronomically better just meeting Dakota and sitting there and chatting with him and everything.
What were you looking for when you found us?
We have transferred to all online, spend more time with our kids. So we were mostly looking for an investment that we could do that would help support our day-to-day living, but that was more passive. We have a lot of active investments, but we needed something that was more passive. That was kind of why we decided to move forward. It was a way for us to invest the money and hopefully grow that money without having to do a ton because we're trying to figure out, especially with raising two kids full time, can only do so much.
There was also a timeline thing as well, where we were willing to extend a little bit on the risk side to get involved with something that's, has better returns sooner. Real estate just doesn't do it like that. And investing in the stock market doesn't do that. And so I think there was kind of like just a development. I've been trying to actively in my life be an early adopter. For me, at least, I thought it was like a pretty good opportunity. There's not a lot out there, not necessarily get too bad of a damage if it went south or something like that. So let's give it a try. In my personal experience, trying to be an early adopter, I thought it definitely fit. And it certainly kind of checked all the boxes of what we were looking for, which is kind of like the inherently, okay, it checks all the boxes. That means it's too good to be true, right? So there's got to be something wrong. So, it's like that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It's just you have to kind of change your mind, your mentality about like what your investment criteria is. I think that had a lot to do with it. We knew we actively wanted to be a lifestyle investor. So we defined what our lifestyle was or what lifestyle we wanted. It's pretty simple. I mean, we don't live, like on Monaco yachts or something. It fit with us and it helps support it and everything. And there's room for growth in the future. And it's not just going to stagnate and we're not going to have to wait for 30 years for this house to appreciate or something like that. So pretty simple how it went.
How would you guys describe yourself as investors?
We have transitioned to full-time investing and building businesses as well. So we're kind of building some stuff on our own and then investing in different avenues, real estate, then with you guys and some other things that we're working on. We're building up websites. We're kind of just doing a lot of different things. That's why we wanted to go with you guys doing that side. We're not having to be actively involved in this one because we just have too many things trying to balance it all. So that's why we were looking for something like this. And we had a meeting with another company that does similar stuff. The entry was smaller, but they just didn't have the follow through. So that was one thing I think was really good was you guys did have follow through and were flexible with us with getting started, even though it took us a while to kind of go through our due diligence phase of figuring it all out. So that was good for sure.
What was the number one financial challenge prior to investing with us?
I mean, I think our biggest thing was just that we had specific parameters in mind. And for us, like we had the capital, but we just debated buying like another Airbnb because that's one thing that we do run and stuff like that. But just with the returns and the amount of work that go into real estate, we needed something more that had higher returns on the short run. And so kind of just figuring out where to best put our money to get to where we needed to be was what we were struggling with when we found you guys. I think it was just like it was a great position to be in, right? We had a place to borrow capital, which not everybody does. We just had a lot of different options, a lot of things going up. We looked at buying our own e-commerce business and stuff like that. So I think it was just somewhat overwhelming. And then when we found you guys, that's why I said it felt too good to be true because this was like exactly what we were looking for. Pretty good returns on our money, an exit to where we could pay back the loan in a shorter period of time. So it kind of checked all of our boxes, and especially with like interest rates and real estate rising, you can't like cash out refinances or, if you bought when it was a little bit low and your remodel ended up taking long and now it's at 6% to cash out, you're like, oh crap.
How do you make decisions about which investments to go into?
It just depends on where we're at and what we need at the time being. When we found this, we needed higher cash flow, monthly cash flow. Because if we would have invested 210 into a real estate deal, even a short-term rental, we probably would have been making like 3,000 a month at a 210 investment. And we probably could have pulled some of that cash back out with trying to free up our time and replace some of our income so that would allow us to free up more of our time. So I think that's kind of what we're more so looking at, was the investment and then the monthly cash flow and kind of what we could basically, we were willing to take on a little bit more risk to free up some of our time.
Has People's Equity Group helped you get around obstacles or frustrations with investing or just in general?
I think the main thing that has really just helped with is just shown us the opportunities that there are in e-commerce and helped us trust that, other people can manage our money and that we don't have to be involved in the day to day, because sometimes especially when you're first starting out, you're like, oh, I could do it better and I could do this and that.
Yeah.
No, just let them do it. To be able to kind of just take a more hands-off approach, I think was really helpful. We're traveling, we're leaving for Europe on Monday. We're trying to travel and experience life with our kids, and that's kind of what we're doing. And so this is allowing us to do some of that, which most people can't do, and they can't wrap their mind around how we're leaving for months, kind of decided what we want. And that's why we're appreciative. And that's why we're totally we're excited about what's happening, and we definitely appreciate what they've done for us. And so that's why we're definitely want to be a part of this and want to find ways to continue supporting and investing. For sure, it's been a key to allowing us to live the life that we want. Obviously, we're very appreciative of that.